Welcome to the Zen AF Hustle Podcast. I'm your host, Julia Garcia Devaney. I'm a life and mindset coach for female founders, and my mission is to help thousands of ambitious, busy women become the number one asset in their life and business. Tune in as I share with you the behind the scenes of my own ambitious journey and help you bring the Zen back into your hustle so you can create the impact you desire and truly love your own ambitious journey as well. Welcome, and let's get into the episode. Hey, my ambitious listeners. How are you guys doing? How are you feeling? I hope that this podcast is finding you doing so well and hopefully better than me. As you guys may or may not know from my other episodes, I am now 11 weeks preggers. 11 weeks pregnant, so I'm really just I've been in the thick of the first trimester, joy and glory of all the symptoms, which I feel is hands down the hardest part. I mean, whether you're talking about postpartum, labor, whatever, I think the first trimester is honestly the absolute worst. It's the most torture. I feel like it's been the most trying thing mentally, physically, emotionally, in any of the stages of creating a human being. And I really I've been super consistent. So with my podcast, and I just realized I really love this platform and love this medium because I get to just speak so freely and intimately with everybody. And this is really how you can kind of get to know me a little bit more personally and even intimately. So I was kind of disappointed in myself that I didn't record one last week or the week before, because it wasn't just because I was feeling so physically bad. It was just because I'm also working through this thought still that, just even my experience is not, valuable enough, that I got to come at you with some crazy research and, homeworks and all sorts of things. But I think in this day and age, especially when social media is, portraying such a highlight reel of things, it's so valuable actually to know that somebody else is struggling too, that some things things are not always perfect and rainbows and butterflies, as they say. I genuinely think it's valuable to understand that people are still human and they are persevering and having difficult moments and, getting through them in their own unique way. So I'm here to hopefully not feel like I'm complaining at all, but just kind of letting you guys into my experience right now. It's been, in terms of business, it's been, pretty challenging to do anything that I need to do right now. My line of business, my work right now, is very creative work. It's not like I'm sitting behind a desk, managing people or answering calls or whatever. I'm doing creative work, and it really requires a different part of your brain, and for you to be able to access that part of your brain. And right now my body mostly feels like it's in survival mode, it's so difficult to access that part of my brain, right? To access that creativity and things like that. And so, as a lot of you guys may or may not know, I'm working on editing my Zen AF Wellness Planner at the moment. I invested a lot into this project, and it's my main focus at the moment. I'm really determined to get that done by the end of this quarter, literally sample in hand and all. I feel like I've done so much of the work already, and but the editing process is quite challenging for me personally, because it's okay, I got to see what to omit, how to make this better. And I'm also kind of learning a new skill in the sense of writing. Before, anytime I've taken any writing classes or whatever that were on my own, they've always been creative writing. And they do have a little bit of a different rules than, mainstream kind of writing that I'm trying to do here, almost like copy and, really just, making it universal for like many people to understand. It is so challenging for me. I am not somebody who has naturally like great grammar or anything like that. And I don't even want to be honest with you. So, the editing process has just been really interesting to just, you know, challenge myself to really communicate in a way that is understandable, digestible, approachable, entertaining, like all sorts of things. It's just been a challenge to rewrite the content that I already have in this way. But I have an amazing person that I'm working with that is really, really helping me. And I'm just really grateful to be supported during this time specifically. Like having support, I'm realizing is really just so invaluable. Like it just really is. Like just feeling that support from somebody else. Literally like they have your back. You're kind of hand in hand, and we're kind of like on the same mission. Like that kind of support, whether you're working with like a freelancer or a coach or like whatever it is, whoever's supporting you in whatever kind of way, is just so, so, so important. When you are trying to create something amazing, something big, you're trying to go to your next level, you're trying to, just surpass whatever your current level or comfort zone is at the moment. So that's where I'm at right now in terms of my business and how I'm feeling. So just, not doing too well physically and just kind of trying to really be kind to myself, really tune in into my body, my mind, and notice like what it's asking me for. How much am I like, is it like, real, and how much is it indulging, things like that. Like I am so hyper aware. It's crazy. And, this is kind of hard. It's not the easiest thing to be so hyper aware of every little, sensation and thought and emotion in my body and in my mind. But luckily, I'm a mindset coach and I'm a nerd for this kind of thing. So I really do like analyzing it and dissecting it the best I can anyway. There's times that there's just nothing that's going to happen. I just like, there's just no question about it. I just have to lay down, sleep, do what I need to do. Like my body's just shut down. And then there's some times that I'm really like forcing myself up and out into the sunshine, into some fresh air, getting some walks in, like just trying to like make my body sweat a little bit, like, and this is a very tricky thing to try to navigate because it's such a fine line of like, how much is it that I'm just need to relax, and then how much is it that I need to just force myself to do something. I talk about this concept all the time with my work because there's nobody that can tell you which one is which, right? And only and only by strengthening that inner knowing, that inner intuition of like, what's the voice that I'm listening to and indulging, what's the one that I should be indulging and feeding more, like, things like that. I even have a concept called push or be kind, right? I think you should always be kind, but in just as a way to honor yourself, right? Is like, is this a time to push? Like push yourself out of bed, get up, get going, push yourself behind your computer, finish the things that you need to do. Push yourself to like, just like the whatever you got like in you, just like a little stretch of momentum. Or is this a time to just be kind to yourself? Like, right? Because either way, nothing about it really feels great, right? But if you do need to, like, if you have every desire to get up, get going, and do things, right? And you just cannot, like, it's just not the time, right? Then you need to really not beat yourself up about it, be kind to yourself about it, and take the rest that you need because you understand and know that that rest is valuable. And that when you come up and get out, you're just gonna have, all the energy in the world, and you're going to be able to get it done no matter what in much more shorter amount of time than you would have if force yourself in a time where you were not supposed to force yourself. This time is also challenging for me because, I see how limited I am physically, mentally, emotionally. And I see myself kind of pulling back from my business a little bit. And that's why this podcast is titled Just Stay in the Game, because like at any given moment, like no matter what life throws at you, right? Especially as women, we're the ones that have to like have the kids and take time out of our lives essentially, and sacrifice our bodies and all that stuff, right? All that those very real things that I don't really care to like indulge in at the moment. But you know the fact is that like there are going to be other demands on you in life. If you're like a single gal, you're just on your own, you're doing it, I urge you to just go ham, do it on your, like while you're on your own. But if you are maybe like me, for instance, who has, a husband, a family, a home, and very real desires and ambitious goals that you're trying to go after, then there's quite a lot of demands, that like real demands that are happening. And what I would say is just, stay in the game. Like that's all you really have to do. I'm such a strong believer that if you just stay in the game, you're going to figure it out. Like you're going to figure out your business, you're going to figure out your client, you're going to figure out how to do motherhood, you're going to figure out how to do wifey duties, you're going to figure out how to do life, how to do business, how to create everything that you want if you just stay in the game. If you're not afraid to fail, get up and learn and do it better in the way that you've learned how to do it. And I truly believe that staying in the game is 100% a mindset thing, right? The only way that you can really fail in life and in business and whatever it is that you got going on in terms of goals is when you quit. Like that, I feel like that's the only equivalent to failure, is quitting. Other than that, you are literally just learning, realigning, refining, right? And just knowing exactly more of what you want, because more of what you're realizing more of what you don't want, right? You're learning more of what's not working, and so on and so forth. So the only way to fail really is to quit, to say, no, this is done, right? And not love your reasons for it. Because like even quitting, I can make some arguments for that, or pivoting and things like that. Like that's fine. But quitting and not loving your reasons for it and blaming others for it and blaming anything for it other than, yourself, is really, I feel like, the only way to really fail. And the only way to really stay in the game is to work on your mindset, to work on those thoughts and emotions that come up from failing, from, getting it wrong, from, feeling rejected, from, all of those negative kind of quote unquote negative feelings and thoughts that kind of come up along the way, right? I feel like the only way to really opt out of the game, right? To just say, I don't want to play anymore. Like this is just like all too much, right? And what I really learned during these like trying weeks of me just kind of grappling back and forth with my abilities and my inabilities, it's like I also just got real with, how I actually wanted to do business, how I actually wanted to create my life, like the rules that I was going by, and the fact that like I could just make up my own rules and go by that, and like that's totally okay. And also, still looking at like who am I looking for in terms of validation from. And like, again, like whose rules am I trying to go off of? Like, who am I trying to impress here? What do I actually want? And what do I actually want it to look like? And am I okay with this being my form of success versus what I thought my form of success was? Like, it's really important in order to stay in the game that you absolutely define what does success look like for you in terms of this game, like that you are playing, right? That you are in. Like, what is the, winning thing, the Monopoly, the Yahtzee, the whatever. I'm trying to think of all the board games that you can win. Like, what is the end game? Like, right? What is the end result? What is like success where you're like, I won, and you're like fighting with your brother or sister. And for me, I kind of just realized that there were some things that I thought I wanted. And there was like some things that I just wasn't allowing myself to want or like desire. Like, it's kind of funny. It's kind of a funny example, but it literally just like opened my eyes a little bit. But you guys if you guys follow me on Instagram, you'll see that I go to paddle, what is it called? Oh my God. The pregnancy brain is coming in tough right now. Anyway, I go to paddle every like Tuesday at 10 a.m., right? And it is literally the goal I never knew I had and wanted. Like, to be able to play paddle and like on a Tuesday morning, with my girlfriend in my cute little like tennis outfit and like whatever, is literally just the goal I never knew I had. And it completely like, I don't know, it does something for my soul, my body, my mind that I could have never described, right? I could have never even said that I wanted. Like, I couldn't have even imagined that I wanted this, but it brings so much joy to me. And it does something for me. Like, there's this level of leisure that makes me feel so successful in that moment, because it's really like, that's like the ultimate freedom, like the ultimate success is just having this leisurely, luxurious amounts of time that you could just dedicate to yourself. And for me, I just need that like hour, but something about that little, it's like a game. It's like meeting with my girlfriends and doing something fun, doing something, that is a little bit of exercise. Like, it brings it all home to me. And like, that was what really just got me thinking, like, actually, this is what I want. I don't want to have any calls or anything scheduled at that time. I'm going to block out that time. That's actually my time. And that's what I want to do. And then just kind of allowing myself, I didn't really even realize that I needed to allow myself to do that. I didn't know that that's something that I was striving for. And that was something that kind of, signified some kind of success for myself and for my life. And it kind of went down like a little snowball of other kind of thoughts, right, to offer me in terms of like, okay, if that was something that I didn't imagine that I wanted, like, what else did I am I imagining have I not imagined that I want? And so I just really started looking at like my business and how I'm creating it, and do I like it, and things like that. And I just realized that like I am 110% creating the business on my own rules in my own way. Like, that's not new, but it was almost like this permission that I kind of finally gave myself because, I follow so many mentors and people have done it so well in this one specific way, right? And that's how like so many people have found success. So just like going against that grain, not being the good student, the good girl, to like follow those rules has really, I feel like, hindered me so much because it's just like I had never given myself permission to fully do the things that I'm already doing, right? I'm already creating the business and the life that I want in the way that I want to, so that I can, actually live out the ways that I want to live and value the things that I want to value and do business my own way, which is like, taking care of myself, prioritizing my family first and foremost, and then, giving from excess, right? From then being able to offer value from that place. So like what I was really happy about is like knowing that I actually am creating that business for myself, right? Because I by no means want to be some like executive lady that goes into the office every single day and like spends hours like 9 to 5 every single day, Monday through Friday, maybe sometimes working on the week. I just like, that's not the rules that I want for myself. I want to be able to create the rules, create my results, the results that I want in the terms that I want them. And I know that sounds like a little bizarre for people, but if you look at how results are created, it really is just the thoughts that you have about those circumstances and the feelings you have about those thoughts. And that's what's really going to affect what you do and what you don't do, and ultimately is going to give you the results that you are currently getting. And so in terms of the things that you do and don't do, if I just understand that these are the results that I want and these are the feelings I want to feel, what are the thoughts that are going to give me those feelings, and what kind of actions can I take given those thoughts, given those feelings, and given the results that I'm going to take, or that I want, right? And so that's going to give me the actions that I'm going to take. And if I look at, like, I never done this actually, like, physically on paper or anything like that, which is something that I would probably do with if I was my own client, right? And what I could probably do right now, but you guys can't see it anyway, so it doesn't matter. But I would do this with a client and I would write this down, and then I would go and say, what is it that you have to do in order to create these results, right? Again, the results would be success, defining success for yourself, which is having $1 million business and only working 3 days a week, prioritizing my family, prioritizing myself first and foremost, having fun and laughter in my life. And, because I know that that's the way that I'm going to come home and be a really great wife and have a really happy home. And that's what the most important thing for me, right? Is never exerting all of my energy just in work or whatever, and just giving my family the bare minimum. No, that's never going to happen. So what are the actions that I'd have to take? And it's okay, well, my business would have to be quite different. It wouldn't look like some of the rules that some of these mentors are telling me. These rules that they're telling me is they were single girls with no priorities, no family, no nothing. I can't live by those rules. That we're not the same, So actually, the actions that I would be taking are exactly the ones that I'm taking now. And it makes me feel so happy in a good way. I want to cry, in an emotional way, because in a happy way, because, I'm already doing that. Right. And I just feel like what I got from my misery these last couple of weeks is just really the understanding that I just wanted to I needed to give myself permission to do that just because I'm not building my business in a way that other people would say, would give me a gold star for, right? So be aware of that. If, right now, the way that you are, setting up you're doing things, right? Creating your life. The way you are doing things is because you are so desperate and looking for I don't want to call you desperate. We were all, just curious and looking for strategies, right? And these people had the successful roadmaps and stuff like that. And so we were just oh, okay, well, that's how they actually did it. So that must be the way, right? And I just want to offer that if you are also a quote unquote good student like me. Actually, I was not even a good student, to be honest. I was an average student at best. I was trying to fly under the radar. I was just not trying to get in trouble, basically. That's how I rolled. I was such a I had such a middle child syndrome, even though I was the youngest. I was just trying not to get in trouble. So I wanted to just fly under the radar and not draw too much attention to myself or anything like that, not cause my parents any grief, and also not feeling like I was going to have the shiny gold star either. So if you're anything like me, or if you were that good student, that high achiever or whatever, which most of my clients are, just look at that and see if you are following other people's rules, or if you are giving yourself permission to create your own rules, especially if you're an entrepreneur, right? Which most of you guys are, right? Most of you guys are entrepreneurs, so we are creating our own rules. We are creating our own life, and just giving yourself ultimate permission to be able to do that. And understanding also that this was the other piece, because I did kind of feel a trigger coming up for myself where it was I was still looking for validation outside of myself. And I was just still, I worked through this so much, and I just couldn't believe that that's what kind of was coming up for me. and, from who and for what or whatever. And I just, cause like, I almost feel like I just had enough of like just caring about what other people think and don't think about me, and just like having enough of that and just kind of working through those thoughts and those feelings, and specifically somatically those emotions, because they were very strong. Like that's something that's kind of so ingrained. And if you have this as well, if you have this trigger as well, it's like wanting that validation outside of yourself. Just understand that that is a pretty ingrained thing. It's probably going to come from very young, and it's probably going to be a very practiced thought and belief, and those feelings are going to be quite associated. So it's definitely important that you kind of do something somatically to work that out of your body. I do it EFT because it's like the easiest and go-toest, and yeah, it's just such a great tool to really just tap out and tap in everything that you want to feel and everything that you don't want to feel anymore. But anyway, so definitely making up your own rules, giving yourself permission to make your own rules and live your own life and define success for yourself, right? And then also just understanding that, that you can validate those things for yourself and not looking for them to be validated outside of you in any way, because that's always going to be a lost cause, in a sense, loss of energy, loss of many things. And so for me, like I realized that, the actions that I was taking are so much aligned, because I'm building this product-based business that, is not going to require me to be, on calls with 20 clients a week and so on and so forth. And I can, impact many people in just a couple of hours a week and get face-to-face time with them. And like, which is my favorite thing to do. But, just setting up my business in this way where I'm prioritizing my app, AKA my membership, and helping people in there as best as I can, and giving them all the tools and all my information all in one place. Like, it's just so aligned for the life that I want to create. And now just giving myself permission for that has been very enlightening for me, I guess. And then also, just building my product-based business is so much fun. It also gives me another way to, get face-to-face time with people, because just the other day I did like another little event and I got to like talk to people. I mean, I only sold one planner, but I got to talk to so many people, and it was just so much fun. And I just love like talking to people, right? But I don't love my calendar being stacked with so many different calls and things like that. So doing one-to-many as like a business model has just been so ideal. And that's why I also have been taking, like, I'm just so happy. Like, I'm just so happy and reassured that I've been taking the right steps, investing in the right things to go one-to-many. Like my master certification program is really just how to take these tools, amazing tools that I have, which I was always like so worried about. I'm like, how am I going to take this into one-to-many? Because so many of these tools are just so, one-to-one. But in the master certification program that I'm taking right now, it's really showing me how to do that. And I'm so happy because I'm like finally making ground on my ZenAF Hustle Academy, and just transforming that and just putting as many tools as I can. And it's going to be so great. Like, I'm just like, it's going to be so amazing. I cannot wait. I just can't wait to be able to bring this to so many more people instead of just one-to-one, right? Even though I still have my one-to-one, it's just not ever going. I've never had, more than 5 clients at a time, and I just never will. But in order to, have the success that I want monetarily, like I knew that it was going to have to be more. And, so it was just very, very, there's a lot that came from these last couple of weeks where I've been mostly horizontal and mostly feeling like shit. And I'm so glad that I get to come back on the other side of it, even though, I thought that I wasn't going to be valuable for you guys to know that, and like all the complaints I had. I know it's valuable for you to know that even when you are struggling, that, things are not always perfect for everybody, right? People go through, a lot of negative things throughout their life. It's just not all broadcasted all the time, right? So understand that you are not alone, and nothing has gone wrong. Life is going to life, and things are always going to happen. We are cyclical human beings, especially as women. So we want to honor ourselves in any moment, in any stage, in any phase, in any season of life, of business that we are in, and be there and get the most value out of it. And because I was, in it these last couple of weeks, allowing myself and also analyzing the hell out of myself just because I'm a nerd, I feel like I really got some great insights that I'm going to take into like the rest of my year. And so I really appreciate you guys for tuning in and listening. No matter what, those weekly calls inside the Get Zen AF app are still happening. Hence, I've totally set up my business in a way that I can do that, and I can be there, and I can feel great. And for that hour, trust me, I have the tools, and I also have the emotion that drives me. I feel so purposeful to connect with all of you in there. And so we are still in there. I'm still sending out those reminder emails every Monday. So our calls are every Tuesday at 1 p.m. We do mindset calls. We do mindset coaching calls, which are my favorite. We do networking coffee chats, which are fun. And we also do the book club calls, which are also super fun and just a way to connect and riff on things that we are reading and things that are coming up, and just connect. So if you guys are interested in that, I also made this buddy pass if you are in there already and you haven't heard about it, so that you guys can have, if you're in there and you're a member, you can get a buddy pass link. You can send it to any friend that you want that hasn't attended any of the calls. They can attend the call for free just to check it out. I also have buddy pass links, so if you guys want to attend a call and you guys are curious and it would be fun for you, and you want to see what they're like, just DM me buddy pass and I'll send you that link. If you're a member and you're like, where's this link at? Just message me as well. I'll send it to you again. And it's just a fun way to get people involved and get people inside and connect with more people and grow this community, as that's like my number one priority in terms of my coaching services. And still, if you want to get on the wait list for my Zen AF Wellness Planner, that's also going to be my link in bio. And you can get on the wait list and you can be the first to know when that drops. All right, you guys, I love you guys, and I hope that this was great for you as much as it was for me. And I'll talk to you guys soon. Thanks for listening, Ambitious Babe. If you loved this episode, take a screenshot and share your favorite takeaways with me at Julia Garcia Devaney, and be sure to leave us a review, as that would mean so much. And if you're ready to put the Zen back into your hustle and love your ambitious journey, be sure to download the Get Zen AF app, where you'll learn to prioritize yourself and truly become the number one asset in your life and business. It's available in the App Store and Google Play. Check out the links in the show notes, and I'll see you inside.